Hey guys, Stephen Bogren here, and I want to talk about rapid weight loss. Should you lose 20 pounds in 20 days? So what's up everybody, how we doing today? Hope everything's going well. I don't know if y'all, I got like a little faux hawk going. I'm kind of contemplating bringing back the full deal mohawk and just going for it before I go bald. So let me know what you guys think about that. Do I need to go back to those good old punk days? But enough about me and my stupid hair. Let's kind of get to the subject at hand, which is rapid weight loss techniques. So I actually had to do a presentation with this with my friend Shiva Best, who is actually now editing for Avatar Nutrition on their website. And so what we actually were looking at was rapid weight loss in weight class sport athletes, right? So we wrote up sort of a journal article on this, and I thought that it would be kind of a cool thing to talk about because we all know that how rapid weight loss techniques are out there, right? 20 pounds in 20 days. And so I think it bears mention because of the fact that it's so out there so much. And so, we have an idea of how rapid weight loss works and how it affects people in the general population. But it's nice to have like real research that's looked at it. And so let's kind of take a look at the rapid weight loss from perspective of weight class athletes, right? Because, we understand people kind of physiologically deal with both. So what's the point for rapid weight loss, right? It's to get the number on the scale down. And so that can be important in general for people who are very overweight, right? Because, we want general health to improve. And we know that carrying an excessive amount of extra body fat can be very detrimental to our health. For, really multiple reasons, but we can get into that another time. So let's sort of look at kind of what happens, and let's talk about what happens when you have rapid weight loss. So rapid weight loss, right? It's like 20 pounds in 20 days. So I think what we were looking at in these studies were people were averaging about a kilo to 2 kilos per week. So that's a lot of weight loss. That's 2.5 to 5 pounds a week. So what we see is weight just comes weight down, right? So they get weight down, they hit weigh-ins, and then the weight comes right back up. So the problem that we see with the rapid weight loss techniques and procedures is that, weight as an overall comes down, right? But we also see something like lean body mass come down, right? So they're also losing lean body mass during that. So yes, fat mass comes down, body fat percentage comes down, but the main problem being that we lose that fat-free mass. So fat-free mass is things like muscle, right? So we want muscle being a metabolically active tissue. It burns calories at rest. So all things considered, the same person with the same organ weight and bone weight and density and fat mass, if they have more muscle, are going to burn more calories sitting around doing nothing all day than the person who has less muscle. So in terms of long-term weight maintenance, that is something we want to be aware of, right? We don't want to lose muscle mass because that means it puts us at a place where it is now harder to maintain weight. Harder to maintain weight being, like, I cannot now eat the same amount of calories and maintain my weight because metabolically my body's just not working at the same rate. It's not burning the same amount of calories. So this is one of our big issues with the rapid weight loss procedures, right? It's the loss in lean body mass, mostly because what it does is it sets you up for failure long term, especially if you're not an athlete, right? At least athletes, they're pretty active. But let's talk about some of the other things that it does, because we don't just lose fat, we don't just lose muscle, we don't just affect our metabolism, because the metabolism adjusts to that as well. So let's sort of look at some of the other things that happen. So when you look at even elite athletes, what you see is a lot of them, up to half really, they undereat. They undereat probably up to about half their calories based on the studies that we were looking at. Okay, so that in and of itself is a main concern because that means athletically we're not fueling the activity. This is one of the reasons why I feel reverse dieting is so beneficial and why so many people see such great results from it, It's because it's not magic. Here's the deal. We're now fueling that activity, right? We're spacing our meals out. We're giving the person the calories that they need to perform in the gym. And so now they're burning more calories in the gym. They're doing more muscle damage. They're getting more recovery, right? So they're using more calories to recover. So all these things just end up being, they're burning more calories, right? So I don't think that reversing is magic by any means. I think what it does is it allows us to perform and to adapt better to the stimulus so that we actually still see improvements in body composition during that time. But what are the other things that rapid weight loss are sort of going to incur, right? One of the big ones is loss in glycogen stores, right? So the scale goes down. But here's the real deal of it. So not all of that's fat. A lot of that is water weight. So we store water with glycogen, right? So glycogen is kind of like our human starch. It's how we store carbs within the muscle cells and within the liver. So it's extra energy that our body has to use for kind of short-ish term activity. So what happens is when we go on these very low-calorie restrictive diets is glycogen content within the body, it goes down, right? So we lose a lot of that extra water weight. So a lot of that weight that we lost is really water weight, not fat. And it's kind of why we want to focus on losing fat, not just losing weight. So that's kind of like this brief synopsis of the physiological stuff that happens and kind of why we see that, right? So that's some of the things that physically the restrictive diet's going to do for us. So let's talk about some of the things that mentally that those restrictive diets do for us and do to us, some of the things that they cause. The main one is a lot of disordered eating, right? So what we see after those rapid weight loss techniques in athletic populations is binging behavior, overeating and going crazy, right? So for some people this is planned, right? If you're a power lifter or an athlete and you've just made weight, it is important to rehydrate, to get your electrolytes back up and to get your carbohydrate stores or your glycogen stores back up. So that initial binging behavior it's almost planned, right? Because otherwise we're not going to perform well. And we actually see decrements in repeat bout performance. So anything that you have to continue to go and do over and over again after those rapid weight loss in competition. But that binging behavior can persist. And so what we see is that with these very large restrictive diets, right? So we're going from normal life to like 500, 600, 800 calories a day. And what we see is when we're coming off that, right? Because we hit that goal weight. And so even though the weight isn't indicative of what we wanted to lose, we hit the goal weight. So now the restriction ends. The binging starts, right? There's no reason to not. So the problem being that your metabolism has adjusted to that. You've probably lost lean body mass. So you're just not burning the same amount of calories that you used to. So your maintenance calories, if you just go back to eating how you were, are no longer your maintenance calories. So what happens is you start getting weight again. And that kind of goes back into the yo-yo dieting for general population. But I think that looking at the psychology of it, the binging behavior is something that definitely needs to be dealt with. And that's apart from the fact that when we're always looking at the scale weight classes and we have these large fluctuations back and forth all the time, it also creates a lot of body image issues as well. Body image is so closely tied to overall quality of life that it cannot be understated how important it is. Yes, it's important to be healthy. Yes, it's important to feel good about yourself, right? And it's important to feel good about yourself whether you're healthy or not, right? Because we're talking about psychological health on that. So body image is very, very complicated. It's very complex, and it's something that's extremely important. And I think it's something that a lot of times we don't pay enough attention to. And one of the real issues that I find with these rapid weight loss procedures, lose 20 pounds in 10 days, is that our body image is negatively affected throughout it. So one, we're all constantly looking at a number, right? And it might not even be a realistic number. It might be a number we can hit for a day or two with a depletion or dehydration techniques. Whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter. So we're looking at that number, right? And so now, after we've come off that diet and life has gone back to normal, and we're no longer at that number, and athletes normally aren't going to stay at that number because they want to get better, they want to perform, they want to put on muscle, right? So when we're no longer at that number, our body image suffers about it because for whatever reason, we've been brought up, we've been conditioned to think that this number makes us worthy, right? It makes us attractive, it makes us whatever it might be, which is untrue, obviously, right? And so what we see is the further we get away from that number, the worse we feel about ourselves. The more that binging behavior is encouraged, right? Because eating and food is emotional, and there's this emotional and social connection with it. That's just sort of how things are. And so we want to be very aware of what we're doing and what we're setting ourselves up for. So this is why I do not ever encourage rapid weight loss. At most, I would say water cuts, but even then you have to be very, very careful because people have died doing water cuts as well. They've dehydrated themselves, and it is dangerous to do. The way that you really want to lose weight, guys, is slow and steady. Slow and steady wins the race. It's a marathon. This is a thing called life. It doesn't only last for 2 months. It doesn't only last for 3 months. You know, we have a lifetime ahead of us that we want to be healthy and fit and happy and feel good about ourselves. And the truth of the matter is no specific weight is going to make you feel good about yourself. That's perception, and that's how you feel about yourself, and that's a much deeper seated thing. It might help, right? It might help get us there for a little bit, but we want to pay attention to things like health, how we feel, right? How we feel is a big one. How much energy you have. Are you happy with your training? Like being active, being out and about, your independence. It's like these are the things that we want to be able to look at. And so guys, this is a very complex topic. There's a lot to it, and I know that we've barely scratched the surface today, but that's going to be it because I feel like I'm rambling on. And so if you have questions, post them in the comments. I would love to talk more about it. But that is going to be it, guys. So remember, rapid weight loss does not always mean good weight loss, and rapid weight loss can set you up for a slew of other issues down the road. So take your time, do it right, guys, and set yourself up for a lifetime of success, all right? See you later, guys.